The past 2 weeks of Blue Lock have had some of the craziest twists, reveals, and comebacks ever, and I'm not sure about you all, but I've enjoyed every second of it. What's going on, everyone? My name is Animasu, and I'm finally back from vacation and back on that content grind. I'm sick again, as you can probably hear, but hey, fuck it, we ball. In today's video, we're gonna be going over both Blue Lock chapter 307 and 308, as I missed last week's due to vacation, so feel free to skip ahead to this point in the video if you only care about the recent chapter. As usual, if you'd like to support my channel and stay up to date with Blue Lock, be sure to subscribe, comment below any video ideas you'd like to see, and feel free to join my community Discord in the description. I hope you all enjoyed today's chapters, and please have a great day. Blue Lock chapter 307 opens with a stunning full-color spread featuring the Egoist 4 walking along a set of train tracks on their sharp Blue Lock formal wear. Each of them is dripped the fuck out, but Kunigami in particular might be responsible for the meanest side-eye of 2025. The chapter itself actually kicks off with the arrival of a passenger plane, which we soon learn is carrying none other than Isagi yoichi. He rolls out of the airport with a bright grin and a spring in his step, clearly excited for whatever his next destination has in store for him. There's a real sense of anticipation in how he moves, as if he knows he's on the cusp of some big breakthrough, but I guess that's what you get for being Ego's favorite and having specialized training. That destination is quickly revealed though to be Barcelona, Spain. As Isagi walks through the city streets, a flashback cuts in to explain how he got here. Ego sent him a care package filled with World Cup DVDs, plane tickets, and most importantly, VIP passes to matches across several countries. This isn't just a vacation, but a hands-on training mission given to him directly by Ego, and his directive was simple: witness world-class football firsthand, study it, learn from it, and grow as a baller. While the trip involves some sightseeing as well, Isagi's main focus is football. It's confirmed that he has tickets to matches in England, France, and more, but the match he's attending tonight is a showdown between FC Barça and Chicord. While Chicord appears to be Blue Lock's version of Atletico Madrid, the key detail here is that they're a high-level La Liga matchup, one of the most elite football environments on earth. Isagi also notes that both Patera and Atoya played for FC Barça during the new Egoist League, though this is just a fun reminder more than a relevant plot point. Pumped up and ready for the evening, Isagi throws his fist into the air in excitement, only for his stomach to betray him with a loud growl, as that boy is hungry as hell. Realizing he hasn't eaten, he pauses his football-focused day to grab a little bite. He strolls into a nearby restaurant, the doorbell jingling behind him, and he quickly settles into a seat while looking over the menu. The chapter's already giving me heavy Shibuya arc vibes from after the U20 match, and as I always say, I really do love these chapters where we get to see them off of the pitch. Isagi quickly realizes though he's got a bit of a problem. His brain completely blanks the moment he opens the menu, as it's all in Spanish, and despite his excitement about football and culture, he apparently forgot to study basic restaurant survival phrases. As he sits there low-key panicking, he looks up and notices a man seated nearby eating alone. This guy's rocking a striped bunny hat with a deep scar carved under his right eye. It's definitely a unique design and one that instantly catches Isagi's attention. We then get a better view of the stranger, and he does have a pretty striking presence. He flashes a laid-back smile and greets Isagi with a casual hola, which prompts Isagi to try and ask what dish he's eating. But of course, the language barrier immediately shuts down any chance of a smooth conversation. Isagi, thinking quickly though, drops one of the Mikage Corporation translation earbuds into the guy's hands. He pops the earbud in and is clearly amazed by the real-time translation technology. He tells Isagi that the food he's eating is called aldif, which Isagi admits looks delicious. Apparently it's a dish similar to paella, but made with pasta. It looks like it's loaded with shrimp, spices, and broth, basically a full scent of flavors that Isagi is sold on instantly. The stranger then asks where Isagi's from, and when he responds with Japan, he then repeats it a second time with a little accent that makes the guy chuckle. The conversation naturally shifts to the obvious question being what he's doing in Spain. With a wide grin and a bit of blush, Isagi says that he came to Spain to learn, not just from sightseeing, but to really study how football is played in different environments. The stranger asks if he likes the sport, and Isagi lights up, saying the more he's trained and grown, the more he's become infatuated with it. He talks about his fascination with not just the game, but the history behind it, the way tactics evolved over the decades, and how science and data are now used to enhance performance. But more than anything else, what captivates him most is a player's individuality, the ability to shift the momentum of a match and influence the entire flow of a game just by being yourself. That's why he's so hyped to watch this La Liga match he's going to. Spain's football is famous for its high-paced, improvised, ego-driven style, and this is his chance to witness it up close. He assumes the guy he's talking to must have something he's passionate about as well, but the response he gets back is weirdly dark. He says, not really anymore. He continues on to say, while still chewing his food, that seeing people like Isagi so full of passion in life just makes him want to die. That stops Isagi in his tracks. He freezes, unsure of if he should say anything or just dip out, but the stranger quickly reassures him that he hasn't done anything wrong. He's just an insensitive person by nature. Isagi, with some honest empathy, replies that ever since they started talking, he's had this sad smile on his face, the kind that feels fake and he's hiding something deeper. This hits the stranger like a gut punch at first, but then he just starts laughing. Not in a mocking way, just genuinely amused that this random tourist managed to read him that easily. I'm not gonna lie, I've thought about it before, but it would be hilarious to see Isagi just activate metavision for a casual task or anything in public, but hey, that's just me. Anyways, the stranger calls Isagi rude, but clearly finds the whole moment funny. The vibe is light, but the subtext does feel heavy. Bro really just straight up said he wants to die because other people enjoy living, and it's low-key poetic, but high-key relatable. After finishing his food, the stranger stands up tall as hell and thanks Isagi for the conversation. He flicks the earbud back to him, winks, and wishes him luck on his journey. Isagi catches it, still processing the interaction, to then bolt to the waiter to order the same dish, only to find out the olive doesn't even exist. The waiter says it's called something else entirely. Now Isagi's confused and realizing that this man might have been trolling him from the start, but there's no time to dwell on it. The scene cuts to camp now, and Isagi arrives at the stadium just in time for kickoff. This place is absolutely packed, fans chanting and waving flags as the atmosphere swells. He barely made it due to his impromptu lunch and some unpacking, but the second he walks into the stands, it all hits him. This is the real deal. Sacred ground. The beating heart of La Liga and maybe even the football world itself. I mean, when you think about it, Blue Lock is kinda just Japan's version of La Masia. We then get a gorgeous wide shot of the entire stadium as Isagi takes it all in, and he makes a quiet vow to himself. Someday, he'll play here. Whether that's foreshadowing for a future Champions League arc and him joining Barca or Madrid, or just him aura farming on the sidelines, we don't know yet, but I love the ambition. The players walk out onto the field with the pre-match kids beside them, and Lavinho hypes up the crowd. Isagi zones in on him, remembering how wild it was to play against a superstar like that in the new Egoist League. It's a surreal feeling to now watch him from the stands, but hey, that's just what Blue Lock is. But then comes the twist. Just seconds into the game, Lavinho passes to his right, and the person who receives the ball is none other than the weird stranger from lunch. He's wearing the FC Barca uniform, and not just that, he's starting. Isagi's jaw drops. Dude straight up lied to him and then showed up as a first stringer in one of the most elite clubs in the world. Pulling up his player profile on his phone, we finally learn his name. Bunny Iglesias, a 19-year-old forward, 191 centimeters tall and left-footed, and currently one of the most promising players in the new Gen 11. He's only recently transferred to Barca mid-season and somehow already has 11 goals under his belt. That's an insane stat line for a rookie anywhere, but especially in La Liga, this guy just isn't good. He's one of the best under-20 players we've seen yet. Anyways, the match kicks off, and Lavinho flicks up a pass straight into the air, calling Bunny's name as the fans start chanting too. Bunny leaps at least 5-6 feet off the ground and smashes the ball into the back of the net before anyone can react. One touch, one goal. The crowd erupts, and even Isagi can't help but rise to his feet in disbelief at this super goal. The chapter wraps up with Isagi staring wide-eyed, realizing that Bunny is just going to be another monster they have to face in the U20 World Cup. The last panel shifts perspectives to ITOSHI SAE, who is hate watching the match from his penthouse. Bunny is clearly on the screen, and from the glare in Sai's eyes, it's safe to say there's a potential rivalry there. Moving on to the Blue Lock chapter 308 officials, they kick off with intro text which reads, Baratsuda approaches Nagi with an eerie smile. What's his objective? And I'm not gonna lie, seeing this bum-ass guy back already, with that ear-to-ear grin, honestly made me sigh out loud and nearly punch my wall. I just don't like Baratsuda. He greets the genius with a simple hello, meanwhile Nagi just stares back at him dead-eyed like this man just ruined his peaceful yearning about Reo. While the rain keeps pouring over Nagi, Baratsuda stays dry and smug under his umbrella. Nagi doesn't even recognize him and bluntly asks who the hell he is. Baratsuda gets visibly thrown off and frustrated, shocked that Nagi doesn't know him, and scrambles to introduce himself as the chairman of the JFU, but Nagi is not even pretending to care. He's still bleeding from his hand and just wants to know what this weird man wants from him, shielding his wound from the rain while waiting for an answer. With that creepy smile still on his face, Baratsuda asks Nagi if he wants to take Ego down a peg. His dialogue starts getting shadowed out in black speech bubbles, which is always a clear sign of someone's true nature and intentions. He continues by saying Nagi has undeniable talent and was still kicked out of Blue Lock, which he finds suspicious. He then hints that he's not the only one alone in thinking this decision was unfair and says there are others who want to see Nagi back. Our genius isn't sold yet and just says he doesn't know, but then Baratsuda drops a bomb. While 23 is the minimum number of players for the U20 World Cup, that's only the baseline. The real shocker is that the maximum number of players allowed, just like in actual international play, is 26. Baratsuda walks closer through the puddles and starts explaining how the teams get to decide if they want to use those extra slots or not. And here's where the shady promise comes back from earlier in the series. Apparently in exchange for funds for Blue Lock TV and all the marketing nonsense, Ego gave Baratsuda the rights to 3 players for the U20 Japan squad, officially making it 26 players total. We even get a nice little diagram explaining the split. Ego chooses 23 and Baratsuda gets his 3, a trio of wildcards who can represent Japan thanks to his influence. Of course, he wants Nagi to be one of them, as that's the whole reason he approached him here in the first place. He formally reaches out his hand and asks if Nagi is willing to walk through the devil's back door. The diagram even goes as far to visually pit his 3 against a solid 23 Ego build, with a literal wall of dark flames to represent them. This man must be Gru from Despicable Me, cooking a full-on revenge plot in the middle of a rainstorm and trying to get a depressed teenager to join him. Simply absurd. Before Nagi can give him an answer though, Baratura says there will be some special conditions if Nagi wants to join. The first is that he must take a special selection process Baratura is setting up. Secondly, if he does get chosen, Baratura takes over everything. His management, his contracts, he basically bleeds him dry financially. He leans in like a Bond villain and whispers that Nagi will be his property, which to me, sounds like a great reason to sock him in his face, but Nagi stays compromised somehow. Now as for the final condition, when Nagi returns to Blue Lock, he has to play solely to prove Ego Jinpachi's entire philosophy wrong. We get the symbolic panel of a cartoon Ego Jinpachi being shot full of bullets like a carnival pop-up, which gives me very similar vibes from that panel we saw of Hiyori's parents. Baratura even holds out his arms and imagines money flying all around him, laughing about how the scheme will ruin Ego and force him into an early retirement, then opening the door for Baratura to take over Blue Lock himself. Then we get this wild double spread of Baratura reaching out with some weird aura tentacles behind him, straight up asking Nagi to help him seize Blue Lock by force. It's honestly kind of crazy this dude got an aura panel before Kunigami, but I will admit he's going off here. Nagi looks completely shaken by the proposition and starts wondering if he could really return, if there's still a way to play with ITOSHI SAE, Reo Mikage, and Isagi yoichi. But instead of being twisted by temptation, Nagi's text bubbles also shift to black as he calmly responds that he can't go back. Baratura looks stunned, but Nagi goes on to say something that flips the whole conversation. Ego Jinpachi was absolutely right about him. Baratura loses it and starts yelling about what Nagi's even doing here. Doesn't he still want to play with those he grew close to? Doesn't he still want to chase the passion of his desire? Nagi stays quiet, then covers part of his face as he explains that it was Ego that gave them this all of Blue Lock. It was Ego who built the path that gave him Reo and Isagi, the people who showed him what true passion feels like. Baratura loses his temper again and calls Ego a heartless monster who's just using Nagi as a stepping stone. As the storm rages around Blue Lock's facility, Nagi stands tall and says that even if all that's true, Ego is still the reason the program is on fire in the first place. With an intense panel filled with hella aura, Nagi declares that he will not betray Blue Lock. Obviously, Baratura can't handle the rejection. He lashes out and kicks up a splash of muddy rainwater onto Nagi, calling him soft and delusional. He tells him that he'll grow old and die full of regret, always wondering what he could have been, that the hunger and pride in his chest will never go away. He basically begs Nagi to abandon his morals for his own sake. Before that argument can spiral any further though, Baratura's fun buzzes. When he pulls it out of nowhere we cut to a total Love Island level bombshell. ITOSHI SAE appears on the screen, lounging in a penthouse with a stunning city view behind him and looking stunning himself. Casually, he just goes on to announce that the World Cup groupings have been decided like he hasn't been missing for literal years other than last chapter. Japan gets placed in Group A, and the draw is absolutely insane. First up is Nigeria, who's a historical powerhouse with the most U20 World Cup titles, at least I think. Then comes England, who we've all been dying to see, and finally France. Like, what are the cosmic chances of Japan being put in such a horrid group? As France's flag appears, we instantly see Julian, Loki, and Charles just standing there intimidating everyone before the match even starts. Baratura understandably freaks out, realizing how difficult it will be to even get out of the group, but he then laughs it off and says that he'll just use one of the 3 wildcard picks on Sae and let him skip the test. From his perspective, this is all about TV deals and sponsorships. If ITOSHI SAE plays, Japan's chances of advancing go way up, but Sae is not having it. Without hesitation, he shuts him down and says, "I'm not wasting any time in those bum-ass group stage matches." Baratura looks shocked by this, but Sae is just seen hate-watching more Barca matches, staring at Bunny. He literally says that he'll only play if Japan makes it to the knockout stage to face Spain, which is just crazy work, but not out of character for this selfish prick at all. Baratura, realizing he no longer has leverage, just agrees. He says he'll leave Sae's spot open then, hoping the team could at least survive without him until it's time to deliver. Sae accepts, but also throws in that he might change his mind later, which, let's be honest, the author better not play with us like this. Surely. As he scrolls through an article calling it Japan's Group of Death, Sae coldly points out that none of it matters until they actually survive the first round. On the final page as he finishes the call, Sae basically tells Twin, "You need some ambition so massive that even Blue Lock's a stepping stone. Only those with an ego that big can really become champions." Baratura just sits there smiling at his schemes while back in the rain, Nagi's head hangs low, soaked and silent in the rainstorm. And now looking ahead, the title for the next chapter 309 will be Reunion, which could mean a lot of things to me. Are we finally going to see Sae return to Blue Lock to cross paths with his brother Rin again? He did say he'd wait till the Spain knockout matches, but training with the team wouldn't be a bad idea. Is Nagi about to re-enter the program and reunite with Reo already? Or, and I'm half joking here but not really, is this finally the moment where Kira gets brought back and sees Isagi again after all this time? The title leaves a lot of room for speculation, and all jokes aside, let me know who you think will be the Baratura 3 and what this chapter title could mean. Anyways, with that wrapping up today's double chapter overview, I just want to thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoy these chapter breakdowns or just want to stay up to date with the series, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your predictions in the comments, and feel free to just join my community Discord found in the description. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one tomorrow.